Hey programmers, Clever here again. We're going to continue talking about now. I'm going to create this second directory and then create another now file. This is amazing video. Okay, so this is our second document and we're going to create a command called run, and we're going to show we're going to write some iterations here. So now is a very pipeline-oriented language. So aside from all this document style syntax, when you are developing, when we are writing real code in now, it's pretty much oriented to pipelines. So it tries to avoid this thing about saving values into variables and then accessing them later, etc. So instead of doing this, it tries to always put the data into a pipeline and process that inside the same pipeline if possible, always. So I'll give you an example of just printing a range. So let's say range 5. What this is going to create is kind of an iterator. If you are familiar with Python iteration, it's just like this object that you're going to call next, 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 and it's going to iterate until it ends. So it's a range of 5 integer numbers. And we have the pipe to separate another comment that's going to be for each I. We're going to print $I. Okay, so if I call 0 do now 02 now run, it's going to print this range from 0 to 5. Okay, so simple enough. It's not a big deal. For each usually is the command that ends a pipeline, and the interesting thing about pipes inside now is that they are different from shell. For instance, if you're in a shell script, the first command is going to write into the pipe, and the next command is going to read from the pipe. So effectively the data is being pushed. And now the data is being pulled. So the iterator object is going to be pushed forward, and then the last command is going to pull the data instead of the first pushing it. So for each is the command that's going to pull data. So it's cool, but also now tries to be a language easy to write more than easy to read. So we could keep this for each here, but we can be much more succinct and just do this. So this syntax is a form of syntax sugar. It's going to be a for each, and the first command is going to receive whatever value is being like unwrapped from the range, and you can work with that. If you don't want the first value, you can use a command like discard, and then you're going to just print empty lines. But usually that's how you would do a inline for each, is the technical term for that. So you could both do that, or we could play a little bit with our iteration. We could use a filter and use this kind of thing, equals to not, and then print. Okay, so doing this, we're going to see that the number 2 is skipped, and that's it. A filter just takes whatever condition is given and filters by that. So here we are saying this this square here is a method caller. So we're going to get whatever object is coming and calling a method called eq. It's a equality operator. If that is equals true, it's going to put a true in the pipeline, and then we call from this boolean true, we call the method not. That's going to put a false in the pipeline, and then the filter is going to skip this number from the range. And as you can see, then we print inside the inline for each. So we have like iterator, 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 iterator in the pipelines, okay? We could also have something like this, a transform. So what the transform does is just this. Whoops, in the file. Oh, no, target to transform. Yeah, X. Sorry. That's it. Transform just going to iterate through the range, and whatever I return here is going to be put in place of the original value. So I could do something like this, return $x times 2, and it's going to multiply by 2. So we have here another form of syntax sugar, because in now it's almost like TCL or TCL, where you have this very strict form of comment and arguments pipe, comment arguments pipe, comment arguments pipe until the end where it's the last comment. But doing math operations, mathematical arithmetic is kind of hard to do on TCL, because you have to call expert, and here instead of doing this, instead of forcing the user to say something like this, and these square brackets are going to act just like in TCL, say object x and send to a method move by 2, or the method can be the asterisk itself. So instead of doing all that, what this sugar is doing is it's transforming the infix notation into prefix notation. Prefix? Yeah, something like that. So it turns the infix notation into whatever the language uses. You know, it's just syntax sugar. Those are the equivalents, basically. So for mathematical operations, or where you have two operands and an operator, used parentheses, that's why it's here. So that's it, basically. You can multiply by any number with transform, and you have also the inline transform, where now you have to like move by 3, yeah, or move by 4. Okay, so that's a very short syntax, so it's easier to, you know, if you're just multiplying by a number or adding another number, it's much easier to just write this instead of saying transform x and using x inside the body, you know. So the reason for that, that's interesting, is because now has a comment, you know, parameter. So you can use this column cmd, and it's going to run whatever you pass on the command line. So when you're using this kind of stuff, you don't want to write, you know, transform x and then open, close, etc. x. You can just you know, add 8 and then print. And also, this is why we have the inline foreach and inline transform. You know, you can write things on the command line much easier, and that's quite useful. Sometimes you don't want to open a repo just for testing 1 or 2 commands. Sometimes you are in doubt, like what this command does, what's going on here, so you can just run simple tests on the command line. And the cool thing is that this cmd, you can say set x 1 2 3 and then print x. Oops, x I should be using this with single quotes, you know, print, sorry, print x is x. And you can have multiple arguments in the command line. It's going to be interpreted just like a same program, you know. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for your time. See ya. Bye.